A very good morning, students. Today we are going to do the lesson The Tiger King. This lesson is written by Ramaswamy Iyer Krishnamurthy, popularly known by his pen named Kalki. Through this story, The Tiger King, Kalki takes us back to the days of the autocratic and eccentric kings who dominated their subjects, but they themselves lived under the mortal fear of the British. It also try to make it more interesting by adding some supernatural phenomena to it. Let us begin the story. The Maharaja of Pratibandpuram is the hero of the story. He may be identified as His Highness Jamidar General Kiledar Major Satavyagra Samahari Maharaja Dhiraj Vishwabhuvan Samrat Sir Jilani Jung Jung Bahadur MAD ACTC or CRCK. But this name is often shortened to the Tiger King. Now, in the beginning, the author tells us that Maharaja of Pratibandpuram was known by the different names, but popularly he was known as the Tiger King. I have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as Tiger King. I have no intention of pretending to advance only to end in a strategic withdrawal. Even the threat of a Stuka bomber will not me throw off track. The Stuka, if it likes, can beat a hasty retreat from my story. The narrator says that he has come us to tell why the Maharaja of Pratibandpuram was known as the Tiger King. But he says that he will go through the story steadily and nobody can stop him or throw him off track. Right at the start, it is imperative to disclose a matter of vital importance about the Tiger King. Everyone who reads of him will experience the natural desire to meet a man of his indomitable courage face to face. But there is no chance of its fulfillment. As Bharata said to Rama about Dasharatha, the Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. In other words, the Tiger King is dead. Now, the author says that everybody who will, read about the Maharaja, he will have the desire. He will build a desire to meet this man of this great man. Why? Because of his courage. Now, but there is no chance of its fulfillment, means that since the Tiger King was dead now, so, the people who will read about him will not have a chance to meet him. The manner of his death is a matter of extraordinary interest. It can be revealed only at the end of the tale. The most fantastic aspect of his demise was that as soon as he was born, astrologers had foretold that one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. Now, the manner of his death means the way the king died was of extraordinary interest. But he wants to tell the end at the end of the story. What was more interesting then? That when the Tiger King was born, astrologers were called to foretold his fortune, to tell about his prediction. And when the astrologers came, they said, what they said? That one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. So this was the prediction made by the astrologers. The child will grow up to become the warrior of warriors, hero of heroes, champion of champions, but they bit their lips and swallowed hard. When compelled to continue, the astrologers came out with it. This is a secret which should not be revealed at all, and yet we all are forced to speak out. The child born under this star will one day have to meet its death. At that very moment, a great miracle took place. An astonishing phrase emerged from the lips of the 10-day-old Jilani Jung Jung Bahadur, "O wise prophets." And when he spoke these words, everyone stood transfixed in stupefaction. They looked wildly at each other and blinked. So what happened when the astrologers came? They predicted about the child that he will become the warrior of warriors. That means he would be very, brave, hero of heroes, champion of champions. But after saying this, they did not speak out. When the king compelled him to continue, the astrologers came out with it. So they said, this is a secret which should not be revealed at all, that we should not tell to anyone. What is the secret? That the child born under this star will one day have to meet its death. Now when they predicted, so if you are asked what kind of predictions did the astrologer make, you will say that they said that the child born under the star will have to die one day. Now at that moment a great miracle took place. So what was the miracle that took place at that time? Was that the 10 days old Jilani Jang Bahadur said, "O wise prophets." And why it's a miracle? Because a 10-day child never speaks, right? So when he spoke, "O wise prophets," they started looking at each other. They were like thinking, who is the one that spoke out? "O wise prophets, it was I who spoke." This time there were no grounds for doubt. It was the infant born just 10 days ago who had enunciated the words so clearly. The chief astrologer took off his spectacles and gazed intently at the baby. So again he spoke. He said, because they were confused, who has spoken these words? So he said, it was I who spoke. Now the chief astrologer took off his spectacles and gazed intently. Intently means very seriously at the baby. What did the baby speak out? He said, all those who are born will one day have to die. We don't need your predictions to know that. There would be some sense in it if you could tell us the manner of the death. The royal infant uttered these words in his little squeaky voice. What did he say? He said that you are telling, this tiger king would have to die one day. So what is new about it? Because all those who are born will one day have to die. We don't need your predictions to know that. There would be some sense in it. What he wanted to know? He wanted to know the manner of his death. That's how I would die. Tell me this thing. The chief astrologer placed his finger on his nose in wonder. A baby barely 10 days old opened its lips in speech. The baby just 10 days old, he is speaking out. Not only that, it also raises intelligent question. Which question? That he wanted to know the cause of his death. Incredible. Rather like the bulletins issued by the War Office than facts. The chief astrologer took his finger off his nose and fixed his eyes upon the little prince. So what did he say? Now he looked at the little prince and said, the prince was born in the hour of the bull. The bull and the tiger are enemies. Therefore, death comes from the tiger, he explained. Now, what did he tell? How his death would come? And why? He said that since the prince was born in the hour of the bull and the tiger are enemies, so the death of the tiger king would come from a tiger. He explained that. You may think that Crown Prince Jang Bahadur was thrown into a quake when he heard the word tiger. That was exactly what did not happen. As soon as he heard it pronounced, the Crown Prince gave a deep growl. Terrifying words emerged from his lips. Let tigers beware. Now, this account is only a rumor rife in Pratibandpuram, but with hindsight, we may conclude that it was based on some truth. Now, when the astrologers predicted that his death would come from a tiger, he did not get scared. Instead, he growled. He gave a deep growl and said, let tigers beware. Crown Prince Jang Bahadur grew taller and stronger day by day. No other miracle marked his childhood days apart from the event already described. The boy drank the milk of an English cow, was brought up by an English nanny, tutored in English by an Englishman, saw nothing but English movies, exactly as the crown prince of all other Indian states did. When he came of age at 20, the state which had been with the court of wards until then came into his hands. But everyone in the kingdom remembered the astrologer's prediction. Many continued to discuss the matter, and slowly it came to the Maharaja's ear. Now, what happened? Now we are told how the Tiger King was brought up. So he grew taller and stronger day by day. He drank the milk of an English cow. He was brought up by an English nanny. He was taught in English by an Englishman. He saw nothing but English movies, exactly the way other crown prince of other Indian states did. So when he became 20 years old, he was given the charge of the state. But everyone in the kingdom remembered the astrologer's prediction. So they were just discussing among themselves, and slowly that prediction also reached the Maharaja's ear, because since people were talking about the prediction, so that prediction also came into Maharaja's ear. There were innumerable forests in the Pratipuram state. They had tigers in them. The Maharaja knew the old saying, "You may kill even a cow in self-defense." There could certainly be no objection to killing tigers in self-defense. The Maharaja started out on a tiger hunt. Now, since he also came to know about the prediction, right? So what did he do? He started hunting the tigers. He started going for hunting, because there were so many forests in the Pratipuram state, and the tigers were there in them, and the Maharaja also believed in the fact that you may kill even a cow in self-defense. So he started out on a tiger hunt. The Maharaja was thrilled beyond measure when he killed his first tiger. He sent for the state astrologer and showed him the dead beast. "What do you say now?" he demanded. "Your Majesty may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner." But the astrologer drawled, "But what? Speak without fear. But you must be very careful with the 100th tiger." "What if the 100th tiger were also killed?" "Then I will tear up all my books on astrology, set fire to them, and I shall cut off my tuft, crop my hair short, and become an insurance agent," the astrologer finished on an incoherent note. Now, Maharaja, I told you, Maharaja went out on a tiger hunt. He was thrilled. Why? Because he had killed his first tiger. He had known, he had come to know that his death would come from a tiger. So when he killed the tiger, he was delighted. So he called that state astrologer who had done the prediction and showed him the dead beast. "What do you say now? Ki ab tum kya kehte ho?" Because why? Because he had said that his death would come from tiger. So what did the astrologer say? "Your Majesty may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner, but," he said, "Maharaja, you could kill 99 tigers in the same manner. But what? Speak without fear." He said, "You must be very careful with the 100th tiger." "What if the 100th tiger were also killed?" the king said, because he thought if he could kill 99 tigers, what harm it would be done to him if he kills the 100th tiger also. So the astrologer was so sure of his prediction that he said, "If you will be able to kill the 100th tiger, then I will tear up all my books on astrology, set fire to them, and I shall cut off my tuft." Now, tuft is, very important for Panditji. So he said, "I would cut off my tuft, crop my hair short, and become an insurance agent." And through this, he was very much sure of his prediction. From that day onwards, it was celebration time for all tigers inhabiting Pratibanpuram. Why? Because now tiger hunting was banned. Banned by anyone except the Maharaja. It was said that now Maharaja would only do the killing. A proclamation was issued to the effect that if anyone dared to fling so much as a stone at a tiger, all his wealth and property would be confiscated. Means he make out an announcement that if anybody who would even dare to throw a stone at the tiger, let alone killing. Killing is a far thing. But if anybody would try to throw a stone at the tiger, his wealth and property would be confiscated. Confiscated means taken by the king, taken by the state. The Maharaja vowed he would attend to all other matters only after killing the 100 tigers. Initially, the king seemed well set to realize his ambition. Now he said that first he would, he vowed. What he would do? He would kill all the 100 tigers, and then only he would look after to the other matters of the state. Not that he faced no dangers. There were times when the bullet missed its mark. The tiger leapt upon him and he fought the beast with his bare hands. Each time it was the Maharaja who won. So he started hunting the tigers. He also faced so many dangers. Sometimes the bullet missed its mark. Sometimes the tiger leapt on him. And but he dared. He was so strong that he fought the beast. Fought the beast means fought with the tiger with the bare hands. And each time it was Maharaja who won. That means each time Maharaja killed a tiger. At another time, he was in danger of losing his throne. A high-ranking British officer visited Pratibanpuram. He was very fond of hunting tigers and fonder of being photographed with the tigers he had shot. Now, what happened one time? That Maharaja was in danger of losing his throne. This is a very important question. How? Because a high-ranking British officer visited Pratibanpuram and he wanted to do some tiger hunting. And beside tiger hunting, he was also fond of being photographed with the tigers he had shot. Why? To show his dare delivery. As usual, he wished to hunt tigers in Pratibanpuram. But the Maharaja was firm in his resolve. He refused permission. Why? Because he had already, vowed that nobody else in his kingdom would do the hunting. So he refused the permission. What kind of permission? To not let him hunt the tiger. So he said, I can organize any other hunt. You may go on a boar hunt. Boar means, wild pigs. You may conduct a mouse hunt. We are ready for a mosquito hunt. But tiger hunt, that's impossible. So just to add humor to the story, the author says that Maharaja said he could arrange a boar hunt or a mouse hunt or a mosquito hunt for the British officer. But tiger hunt, that's impossible. The British officer's secretary sent word to the Maharaja through the Diwan that the Durai himself did not have to kill the tiger. The Maharaja could do the actual killing. What was important to the Durai was a photograph of himself holding the gun and standing over the tiger's carcass. But the Maharaja would not agree even to this proposal. If he relented now, what would he do if other British officers turned up for tiger hunts? Now what happened? When Maharaja refused the permission, then the British officer secretary sent a message. Sent a word means sent a message to Maharaja through the Diwan. What message he sent? That the king, Durai here refers to, it's written about king. So the king did not, Durai refers to the British officer, sorry. So the Durai himself did not have to kill the tiger. What he wanted, the Maharaja could do the actual killing. So what did the Durai want? He just wanted to have a photograph with the gun and standing over the tiger's carcass. He said, okay, let Maharaja do the hunting. Let Maharaja do the killing of the tiger. What he would do? He would just have a photograph click with the tiger's carcass. Carcass is dead body. But the Maharaja would not agree even to this proposal. Why? Because he said if he would allow the British officer to do the tiger hunting, other officers would also come for the same. So, because he prevented a British officer from fulfilling his desire, what desire? To kill a, tiger hunt, to do a tiger hunting. So, he had prevented, he had not allowed him. So, the Maharaja stood in danger of losing his kingdom itself. So, if the question comes that how was Maharaja in danger of losing his throne, you will have to, describe this. The Maharaja and the Diwan had deliberations over the issue. That means now they discussed with each other. Who? Maharaja and Diwan. What about? About the danger of losing the throne. As a result, a telegram was dispatched forthwith to a famous British company of jewelers in Calcutta. Send samples of expensive diamond rings of different designs. Some 50 rings arrived. The Maharaja sent the whole lot to the British officer's good lady. The king and the minister expected the Durai Sani to choose 1 or 2 rings and send the rest back. Within no time at all, the Durai Sani sent her reply, "Thank you very much for your gifts." In 2 days, a bill for 3 lakhs of rupees came from the British jeweler. The Maharaja was happy that though he had lost 3 lakh of rupees, he had managed to retain his kingdom. So what happened? So now, since they were in danger of losing their throne, so what did they do? They tried to bribe the Durai Sani, the British officer. So what did they do? They asked for sample of expensive diamond rings from Calcutta. So 50 rings arrived. The Maharaja sent the whole lot, means all the 50 rings, to the British officer good lady. They thought, that she would keep 1 or 2 and send the rest back. But you know what happened? Within no time, the Durai Sani sent her reply, "Thank you very much for your gifts." So what happened? She kept all the 50 rings. In 2 days, when a bill of 3 lakh of rupees came from the British jeweler, which they had to pay for the 50 rings, Maharaja was happy. Why he was still happy? That even though he had lost 3 lakh of rupees, he had managed to retain his kingdom. So, we will continue the story in our next video.